Welcome back to Collectability. Today we are tackling a very fascinating and difficult subject, and that is how I lost over $1 million in the past year. Selling watches may be a bit too soon. If all of us had a crystal ball, it would be a completely different marketplace. Ultimately, I really and truly believe everyone should buy watches from their heart as much as their mind, pieces that they want to wear, pieces that they love, pieces that they truly want to collect. But let's talk about the elephant in the room. A lot of people buy watches looking at the value. Current market trends indicate prices keep going up, and we're going to dig into that by looking into the past, present, and a bit into the future. Back to the elephant in the room. I'd like to offer my thanks to fellow collector, watch aficionado, and all-around great guy, Phil Toledano, and his brand, Viva Bastardo. And you could visit Hodinkee to see a video about Phil's collection. It's not to be missed. All right, now let's talk about the first piece that I really shouldn't have sold last year. In fact, I sold numerous examples of Patek Philippe lighters and wish I kept every single one of them. But this particular one I'm showing you really hurts. This is a piece with the Omani flag and a Khanjar that I sold last year for approximately $30,000. Seems like a strong number at the time, until I saw it later in the year, the same piece show up at auction in Dubai and bring $75,000. So, as Frank Sinatra said, regrets, I've had a few. In my case, I've had many. Next on my list, Patek Philippe coin watches. I sold a few last year, sold them in the 20s. And I regret it because now they're easily bringing over $50,000 in the marketplace. Look at this example that just sold at Philips well into the 50s. Reference 802s and 803s are reaching new thresholds and price point. And all indications are that these little coin watches are going to keep going up. Third on my list is a watch that would go quite well in Phil's collection, and that is the reference 3770 Nautilus. These Ellipse Nautilus hybrid quartz watches are cult collectibles. People absolutely love them. I thought I was the only one last year, but I was selling them for around $8,000, and now they've doubled in price. It's hard to find one for under $20,000 these days. So take a look for your Nautilus. And you might want to hold on to it a bit longer because all indications, once again, are that they just keep going up. Number 4 on the list, the Patek Philippe Aquanaut, reference 5167. I sold over 3 of these last year, each time selling upwards to $40,000, and I thought I was doing quite well. Problem is, they're now pushing well into the hundreds. And soon we might even see price points at 200. So if you're lucky enough to have an Aquanaut, I highly recommend keeping it because these Aquanauts are heading in the right direction. No discussion of Patek Philippe price appreciation is complete without diving deep into the world of Nautilus. What we've seen in the past year is unprecedented. The reference 5711 line 1P that you see here, the anniversary watch, is a prized possession for many, and some have let them go. 2 individuals sold them with me last year, and they sold in the 300s. Now they're approaching $1 million each. We sold them too soon, but the future will determine if these people were right or wrong, because you never know. You never have that crystal ball to know what time is right to sell. Within the world of Patek Philippe sports watches, I also sold 5060s, 5066s, 5740s. The list goes on of Aquanauts and Nautilus that went through my hands. All of these have appreciated greatly. But I think appreciation might be the right word. We need to appreciate these watches for what they are and not the numbers that they're worth. Because one thing's for sure is values will change over time. So the final tally of my so-called losses over the past year is over $1 million of potential sales. But I think we have to look back as we look forward of the reality of the situation that we're living in today. There is an unprecedented amount of liquidity coming into the watch market that the world has never seen before. People are buying watches possibly for the wrong reasons because they're looking at dollar signs and not the fact that they're buying timepieces. I think it's a cautious tale for all of us to look back at the past and see what happened in markets such as this that go up so quickly. I don't want to predict that the market's going to go down. I'm optimistic that things will continue along and possibly plateau and even do better. But we do need to recognize at the end of the day, these are Patek Philippe watches that are traditionally the best holders of value that one could imagine. They're timepieces to love, enjoy, to collect and appreciate, and like the marketing says, pass on to the next generation. So please consider these thoughts and imagine what you've won, what you've lost, and what you've gained every day that you have worn a Patek Philippe on your wrist. On my right, in this black box, I have watches that I intend on selling. On my left, in this blue box, I have watches that I intend on keeping. But no one's going to see these watches for many, many years because these are watches that are going to stay in the Reardon collection for the time being. However, everyone gets to make their choices of what watches to keep or what watches to sell, and I leave that decision up to you. But collectability is here as a resource to help guide you on these decisions. And education is our mission, and I hope you learned something today. And if you did, please like and subscribe to Collectability on YouTube and Instagram. And until then, enjoy the hunt.